Welcome to our introductory video giving an overview of the basic functionality of the Cogent Core cross-platform GUI framework written in Go.
Let's get started. So this code here makes a simple Hello World example app using Cogent Core. So you can see that we're making a new body to place app content in, and then making a new button inside of that body, and setting the text to Hello World, and then we're running the result. And you can see here that we can even update the text of this button, and the button itself will dynamically update.
So in this code, we're actually running an interpreter for Go called Yegi inside of this Go app. So this is the editor, and everything you see here is all Cogent Core code running on our desktop in this case, and the interpreter interprets the code in these text windows and shows you the result down there on the button at the, right below the text editor.
Yeah, and you can see you can even, in this interactive editor, you can even add new elements to the body, and you can see here this has made a text field because I wrote the code for that, and you can type in this text field.
Wow, amazing.
So the first call in every new Cogent Core app is core.newBody, which makes a new container for app content. And then you add the app content to that body, and then you run the result. And so this is the general pattern that all Cogent Core apps follow.
And these bodies can be placed in different kinds of containers. So the main window is, of course, the main thing associated with an overall app. You can have dialogues, pop-ups, snack bars, all kinds of different containers that the body gets put in.
So all app content in Cogent Core is organized into widgets, which are entities that represent app content. And those widgets style and handle events and have different properties that you can set. So you can see here that we're making a new button using this new function. A button is a type of widget. And then we're setting the text of this button and then setting the icon of this button, and you can see the result here. And so you can see, like, I can change this property here, and you can see that it immediately updates to reflect that.
Also note that we're passing in the parent for the button there. That's the same B that we had on the previous Hello World example. We've just had that handled in the background here for this docs, so you don't have to have that redundant content everywhere.
Yeah, and then also you can see here that when you make a widget, you can always assign it to a variable and then use that variable again later. And so you can see here we're making a button, and then we're setting the text of the button to something else later, and you can see that it's updating accordingly.
Events are one of the most powerful aspects of the GUI framework. It allows you to encode the overall app logic in terms of what happens when a user clicks on a button, how that updates other widgets as the events propagate through the application. And so here we're using a on-click, which is a very widely used event that responds when you click on the button. Let's see if that works. Wow.
Yeah, so you can see when you click on this button, it creates the snack bar, which can display information. And then also you can see here that the on-click event handler actually gets passed an event object. And so that has more detailed information about the event. And so you can see here in this example, not only are we saying button click, but we're also giving you the exact position at which the button is clicked. So you can see if I click the button in different positions, it displays different messages depending on where I clicked it.
Events also have information like time, which mouse button was clicked, all kinds of other stuff.
So one of the most important parts of Cogent Core is its styling system. And so you can see here that we're adding a styler to set the style properties of this text widget. And so in this case, we're setting the weight of the text to bold. And so you can see the resultant text here is bold. And then here you can see this button, we're changing the color of the button using the color scheme. So we're setting it to the semantic success color, which is green. But you can see that I can just as easily change this color to be the arrow color, and you'll see that it'll update to be red.
And by the way, what button are you pressing there to get that to update?
I'm pressing Control-Enter.
Oh, okay, so that'll work on any text edit. You can update and commit the current changes using that.
Yeah. And then you can see here we're setting the size of this frame using Cogent Core's unit system. And so Cogent Core supports a lot of different unit types. DP, density independent pixels, is one of them. And so you can see I can easily change this number and see the results.
It also has EM, which is font-based,
Yeah.
and all the standard ones that you'd expect from the web.
Yeah, so you can see that one is based on EM. One very important thing in Cogent Core is the ability to update the content of an app. And so this example here shows the simplest way to update content, which is just to set the property of the widget and then call the update function. And so you can see here when you click on this button, it's setting this text and then updating it.
And one important principle for how everything works in the framework, when you call that set text function, it only updates a field in the widget, and then any other kind of updates could also be applied in terms of setting other properties. And it's only when that update function itself is called that those changes are applied. And so there's no side effects for setting fields on widgets. You could actually even just set the text directly as a field. So that's an overall design principle. Everything goes through the update call.
Yeah. And so then you can see here we're using another feature of Cogent Core, which is the updater. And so the updater registers a function that's called when you call update. And so this results in the updating logic for a widget being more like encapsulated with the widget itself. It's on the widget here, and then when you actually need to update it down here, you can just call update. And so this does the same thing as the previous example, but it's better structured code because it's updating right next to the widget itself, and then you just have to call update wherever you want to update it.
Yeah, so that's another important principle, is keeping everything encapsulated, keeping all the relevant code for a given widget right there in one integrated set of functions, and we'll see that developing further as we go on. Okay, so I think this is a good chunk for the first half of the basics. In the next video, we'll cover more advanced topics including value binding, plans, and asynchronous updating.